Welcome to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast. I'm your host, Molly Watts. If you want to change your drinking habits and create a peaceful relationship with alcohol, you're in the right place. This podcast explores the strategies I use to overcome a lifetime of family alcohol abuse, more than 30 years of anxiety and worry about my own drinking, and what felt like an unbreakable daily drinking habit. Becoming an alcohol minimalist means removing excess alcohol from your life so it doesn't remove you from life. It means being able to take alcohol or leave it without feeling deprived. It means to live peacefully, being able to enjoy a glass of wine without feeling guilty and without needing to finish the bottle. With science on our side, we'll shatter your past patterns and eliminate your excuses. Changing your relationship with alcohol is possible. I'm here to help you do it. Let's start now. Well, hello and welcome or welcome back to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast with me, your host, Molly Watts, coming to you from, we're going to go with a rebalancing Oregon right now. It has been really beautiful for quite a few days in a row, and then over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and now we're into Sunday, it's been rainy and Friday, lots of rain. But it's improving and the outlook is drying out for the week. And, it's okay. We needed rain. I've said it before. It's been a really unusually dry winter and spring. At least it seems that way for me. I don't know. I haven't really done the math. I didn't go back and look right now to see how far behind we are on rain amounts for the year, but I have been a lot less focused on it. Summer getting here, which I've mentioned on the podcast. Today, we're going to dive into some of the unique challenges around the summer and heat and things of that nature. But before we get there, I do want to mention that for July, I am hosting a special program combined with my Drink Less Success program. It's specifically geared for a more dry July. So if you would like to participate, it is $59 to get 30 days of email support, the audio version of my book, and 5 weekly group coaching calls. And you can sign up for it. I'll put the link in the show notes, but it's over at mollywatts.com/drink-less-more-dry-July. Right? Lots of dashes, but the link will be in the show notes. And I would love to have you participate, especially if you are looking for an opportunity to kind of jumpstart a more sustainable change for the rest of your life and becoming an alcohol minimalist. And 5 weekly group coaching calls live with me during the month of July. You don't have to give up alcohol completely. You can just increase the number of alcohol-free days. That's why we call it a more dry July. And so if you'd like to, check it out. I would love to see you there. All right, on to this week's show. As I mentioned, summer is here and we just officially passed the summer solstice. And, I love summer. I am one of those people that really loves it. But even me, as much as I love the summer, I do notice that I have started to like getting those really, really hot days. I'm not as keen on those as I used to be. And I know for some of you, depending on where you live, you might be trying to survive triple digit heat all the time, which is understandably not as much fun. And you might just be counting the days until the weather changes or the season changes back to cooler temperatures. Here's the thing that's true, no matter where you fall on the spectrum, whether you love these longer days, sunshine, cocktails on the back porch, or you dread the hot temperatures and disrupted routines and that kind of social pressure to make everything more fun. The bottom line is that no matter which side you are on, our bodies are doing extra work during the summer. They are doing extra work with regards to however we are trying to relax. And it's important to understand how alcohol impacts that. When you add even a little bit of alcohol, it interacts with the behind the scenes strains that your body's already experiencing with regards to hydration, metabolism, sleep, cognition, and even more. So today we're going to unpack exactly how heat impacts your body and how alcohol adds an extra layer of challenge. I want to talk to you about how to support your body better during the summer without having to give up those moments that you love for those of us that love the heat. So let's dive in. First, we got to talk about the most obvious thing, I think, for summer, and that is hydration. Heat naturally triggers more sweating, which means fluid and electrolyte loss, and even mild dehydration, as little as 1 to 2%, can reduce cognitive function, impact your mood, and decrease your overall effectiveness or performance. You do not have to feel parched to be dehydrated. And when you add alcohol into the mix, you are increasing your risk of dehydration. Alcohol inhibits vasopressin, the antidiuretic hormone that helps your body retain water. And the result is that your kidneys flush water faster and you lose even more fluids than you're taking in. So whether you're sipping sangria or enjoying a beer at a baseball game, your body is silently working harder just to keep your fluid balance intact. When you combine heat and alcohol, you are dealing with a double whammy. Dehydration from sweating plus the diuretic effects of alcohol. And that will mean faster onset of dizziness, fatigue, brain fog, which can also make you more vulnerable to impulsive decisions, including drinking more than you planned. So understand that dehydration could be playing a part in why it's harder to stick to your plans. Another part that happens when your body temperature is elevated, which happens when it gets really hot outside, hot weather raises your core temperature and your body has to work to cool itself down. And that means things like an increased heart rate, more energy demand, and heavier metabolic activity. And that's all before you even touch a drink of alcohol. Alcohol compounds the issue. It increases blood vessel dilation, which can trick your body into thinking that it's cooler than it is, and it stands a risk for overheating. Alcohol also slows down your body's natural cooling response by interfering with sweat evaporation. You may also notice that you're less hungry when it's hot, and that's not just you. Heat suppresses appetite by reducing ghrelin, which is the hormone that promotes hunger. And that can mean that you'll end up drinking more on an emptier stomach, which obviously accelerates alcohol's effect on your body and your brain. And the combination of metabolic strain, faster intoxication, and dehydration, which we've already talked about, makes alcohol consumption in the heat feel different and not necessarily in a good way at all. Another thing that happens during the summer, and I can speak to this, is sleep disruption from heat. Sleep is a major victim of the summer heat. Numerous studies show that warmer nighttime temperatures delay sleep onset, reduce REM sleep, and shorten overall sleep duration. Even a few degrees can have a measurable effect on your sleep quality. And when we add alcohol to that, we all know that while it may help us fall asleep faster, it fragments our sleep quality, it reduces REM sleep further, and it leaves you waking up groggier and less restored. When alcohol and summer heat combine, the result is more nighttime wakefulness, more sweating, and more next day fatigue, which of course, when we are fatigued, leads to more vulnerability to answering cravings and urges and reactive decision making, right? That's what decision fatigue is a part of this equation. When we are overtired, we make worse decisions. It's very common. If you've ever felt unusually off after a summer night of moderate drinking, it may have less to do with the number of drinks that you had and more to do with the environment that your body was trying to process them in. So I want you to think about that and ask yourself if heat is playing a factor and if you're taking into consideration how much you're eating and your hydration. Hey, it's Molly, here to talk to you about Sunnyside. If you've listened to this show for any length of time, you know that Sunnyside is my number one recommendation for drinking apps that help you change your relationship with alcohol. I've been a Sunnyside partner for more than 3 years now, and one of the key reasons that I chose Sunnyside to be my app of choice is that they are really focused on continuous improvement, just like me. And for you, it is continuous improvement of the app in terms of how the customer is experiencing it. They've completely redesigned the progress tab from the ground up, which makes it easier for you to see your progress over time. They've introduced mini infographics to help you better see the big picture of drinks reduced and how dry days have added up since you joined Sunnyside. They have a dry day streak tracker now for those of you that are focused on taking a real extended break from drinking, and they intelligently surface trends in your data to highlight any positive things for you, and like a steady decrease in overall drinks over the course of time. These changes and these improvements are something that Sunnyside has continued to do ever since I started working with them. You can check it out over at sunnyside.co/Molly and get started on a 15-day free trial today. It's not just your sleep and your metabolism that take a hit with regards to heat. Research shows that high temperatures impair cognitive functions like attention, working memory, and decision making. In fact, some studies show that heat can lower test scores, productivity, and even safety outcomes for job sites. So think about this. On a hot day, your brain is already under strain. You're not as mentally sharp. Then you add alcohol, which can impact your judgment and impulse control. And suddenly your plan to just have one becomes a lot harder to follow through on. It's not because you're weak or weak-willed. It's because your brain is already running below your baseline. And this isn't about scaring you. It's about helping you understand understand what's going on, and that context matters. Summer drinking isn't necessarily the same as drinking during the winter. Your body is playing by different rules, and we need to be aware of it. Here's one thing that most people do not consider. Your kidneys are also working harder in the heat. As you become dehydrated, your blood volume decreases, which means your kidneys have to concentrate waste more efficiently. Add alcohol's diuretic effects and increase sodium loss, and you have a recipe for kidney stress and disrupted electrolyte balance. And this can impact everything from blood pressure regulation to muscle cramping, not to mention increasing hangover severity. Alcohol also suppresses the secretion of renin and aldosterone, which are hormones that help maintain blood pressure and fluid balance. So when you combine alcohol with heat, your system can become more vulnerable to these swings in hydration, blood pressure, and electrolyte status. And again, this isn't to scare you, but it is certainly to become more aware of the dangers of drinking, especially when it comes to hot weather. So, what can we do with all of this now knowledge? There are 5 practical ways to support your brain and body when drinking in hot weather. Number 1, we want to hydrate proactively. We want to drink water before, during, and after any alcohol consumption. Add electrolytes when you are sweating heavily, and don't rely on your thirst to tell you what you need. We've got to hydrate proactively. Number 2, time your drinks wisely. Avoid drinking alcohol in really peak heat situations. If it's the hottest time of the day,
just wait until after sunset, or opt for, earlier in the day, I suppose, but just skip it if it's really hot. Okay. Think about adding alcohol in at a different time when the weather is less warm. Number 3, keep your body cool. All right. Use fans, cool showers, shaded areas, light clothing. The cooler your core temperature, the less your body has to fight alcohol's effect. So it's important to keep cooling your body off. Number 4, protect your sleep window. Finish drinking, at least 2 hours before bed, and keep your sleep space as cool and dark as possible. Lastly, embrace alcohol-free options. There are so many great non-alcoholic drinks now, from sparkling waters to hop teas to non-alcoholic beer, and there's even botanical blends, adaptogenic drinks. Let summer be your excuse to try something new and refreshing and enjoy everything that we love about summer and the heat with some great alcohol-free options. Here's the takeaway. Summer is not neutral for your body, and alcohol isn't either. When you combine the two, the effects are amplified. But you're not powerless. With a little awareness and a few small shifts, you can enjoy your summer, stay aligned with your goals, and most importantly, feel like yourself the next day, which is great, right? This is all what we're all about here at Alcohol Minimalist. Science-backed awareness, tools you can actually use, and progress without perfection. Now, if this episode helped you, share it with someone who could use a summer nudge, and check the show notes for links to the More Dry July experience. I would love to have you, or come join us in the Alcohol Minimalist Facebook group as well. Until next time, my friends, stay cool, and as always, choose peace. I will see you on Thursday. Thanks for listening to the Alcohol Minimalist podcast. Take something you learned from this week's episode and put it into action. Changing your drinking habits and creating a peaceful relationship with alcohol is 100% possible. You can stop worrying, stop feeling guilty about overdrinking, and become someone who desires alcohol less. I work with people in 2 different ways, and you can learn about them over at my website. Go to www.mollywatts.com/workwithme, or reach out to me directly. Shoot me an email, molly@mollywatts.com. We'll jump on a call and decide what might work best for you. This podcast is really just the beginning of our conversation. Let's keep it going. If there's one thing I know, it's that change is way easier when you stop trying to do it alone.